At least that was what was going through my mind when my boss, Michael Fragale, walked into the office to tell me that Jerry West had just died. "Better get to work," he said. As someone responsible for writing obituaries for the department, oftentimes you have some things prepared in case one of the school's living legends passes. That was the case with Hot Rod Hundley and Sam Huff, both of whom had been experiencing declining health prior to their deaths. But Jerry West, the man who always exhibited such energy, vitality, and vigor, Peter Pans just don't die until they do. Where to start with a man who accomplished so much? What do you include and what do you leave out? It's impossible in a short amount of time to write about all of Jerry West's achievements from his 86 well-lived years on Earth. How can you encapsulate all that he has meant to the people of this great state and those who love and adore West Virginia University? Who do you talk to when he meant so much to everybody? When you don't know where you're going, the best place to start is always at the beginning. And for me, the beginning is a file cabinet of interviews that I've kept through the years, including some conversations with West. My interviews with him amount to about a half dozen transcribed telephone calls spanning in length from roughly 20 minutes to a half hour. Some people will give you 10 or 15 minutes of their time before their attention wanes, and they want to end the interview and get on to more important things in their day. I've had people much farther down the pecking order do that to me, but not Jerry. He was always willing to spend as much time as needed to answer any questions I had, particularly regarding West Virginia University, and his Mountaineer basketball teammates. We played the Kentucky All-Star team, and they were supposed to have the best players in America, he recalled. Well, as it turned out, we had the better players. We played them twice and beat them twice. It was just a very high-caliber group of guys that we had in West Virginia at that time. Style of play was a big part of it, West explained. I think coaches were a little bit restrictive than some coaches in certain areas. Most coaches probably inherit their coaching philosophy from coaches that they played for. In that point in time, when I was being recruited for college, Maryland played a very slowed-down game, and I kind of liked that school a little bit, but I just couldn't go there and play that way. It just didn't look like it would have been fun for me to play like that. Team building was the secret to Schaus's and King's successes in coaching, something Jerry clearly learned during his career. The great things West accomplished later with the Los Angeles Lakers, Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors, and Los Angeles Clippers, as an executive, had their roots in those well-rounded West Virginia basketball teams of the late 1950s. Schaus was able to convince Akers that he was better off being a supporting player to Jerry West at West Virginia University than he was being the leading scorer at Virginia Tech or Wake Forest, where some of the other top players in the state at the time were going. Willie had one simple desire when he chose to sign at WVU and play basketball with his buddy Jerry West. "I wanted to win," he said. So he came to WVU and teamed with Lloyd Sherrar, Bobby Joe Smith, and Jim Ritchie to grab the rebounds and play defense while guards Jody Gardner, Don Vincent, Bucky Bolyard, Ronnie Retton, and Lee Petroni handled the basketball. It was Jerry who made the tough shots and rose to the occasion whenever it was required. Every single player on the team would knock over their grandfather to get a loose basketball. That's how driven they were. We were very, very competitive kids, West recalled. Just because some of them were fun-loving doesn't mean they weren't competitive. I witnessed that Jerry West seriousness firsthand when I was once asked to be a part of a speaking program that included West in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Jerry was promoting his new book, and I had just written Roll Out the Carpet, so the idea was for me to go on beforehand and warm up the crowd for a half hour before West took the stage. After telling some funny Hot Rod Hundley, Will Robinson, and Levi Phillips stories, it was time for me to exit and head back to the green room. It was there where I crossed paths with West, shook his hand, and said hello in a somewhat flippant manner. He looked at me, shook my hand and nodded, but his attention was already on the task at hand. He had the focus of a prize fighter about to enter the arena, partly because his book was so personal and revealing and he was about to answer some very uncomfortable questions. It was then when I realized that there are common human beings, and there are elite human beings. Jerry West was an elite human being. He was the one person we West Virginians aspired to be, and he understood the heavy responsibilities that entailed. For everyone out there in the Mountain State, and beyond, reading this, do yourself a favor and study Jerry West's life. Study how he treated others with empathy, dignity, and respect. Study how he always honored his commitments and conducted himself professionally. The blueprint to a successful life is contained within Jerry West's personal story. The successes, the failures, the good times, and the heartaches, all wrapped up into one. He epitomized all the values we West Virginians hold so dear to our hearts, which is why it's so difficult for us to say goodbye. In the meantime, lower your West Virginia flags until after West Virginia Day on June 20th, in honor of West's memory, because there will never be another Jerry West, ever. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to see more of my videos.